to, can I have another? Where another bar has another story, and the drinks have another round. Today we're here at Quick Eternity, tucked away in the South Street Seaport, Moby Dick inspired, little escape, and so let's go in and find out.
Hi, welcome to another session of Can I Have Another? I'm Mike.
I'm Steph.
Here we are today at Quick Eternity. We are here at Southside Seaport. I think it's 22 Peck Slip in Manhattan, New York, New York. It's a nice little bar. It's a Moby Dick theme. And we are here today with, John's name is?
Brian Schneider.
Brian, very nice place. It looks awesome. What made you open up Quick Eternity?
It's a good question. I have been in the bar industry. Should I look at the camera?
Whatever you want to do. Yeah, you're fine.
Cool. You want to start over, I guess?
No, go ahead. No, go.
You can cut it
I'll
out.
edit it out.
Yeah, we'll edit. Don't worry about it.
It's a good question. I've been in the bar industry for 20 years now. I started my first bar backing job was in 2006, so coming on 20 years this year. And I've worked in a number of different bars and restaurants in New York City and helped open about 15 bars and restaurants for other people and other companies, and finally decided last year in May, we opened last May, that it was time to open my own spot. I had already had this idea for a Moby Dick inspired bar after I read Moby Dick for the first time 10 years ago, and there's this like really amazing chapter that describes this whaling tavern that the main character Ishmael goes to like the night before he sets sail on this epic whaling journey, and it's this like vivid description of a seaside whaling tavern in the 1800s, and it's like made from whale bones, and the bar is made from whale bones, and there's all these sailor characters around the bar, and bartenders are like whipping up concoctions, and I just kind of fell in love with this chapter, and I took a bunch of notes back then and just thought to myself it would be really cool to like recreate this bar or use this as inspiration for a bar. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then 10 years later, I stumbled on this space down here in the South Street Seaport. It's an old historic building built in the 1800s. Not too long after Moby Dick was published, and happens to be like right in the neighborhood that Herman Melville was born in. Herman Melville was born like a
It's almost
block
like
away.
a full circle.
Yeah, it was like a full circle, and I a friend of a friend used to operate this as a different bar, and his lease was up, and he was looking for a new partner. And I took a look at the space, and I instantly thought about my idea for this Moby Dick inspired bar, and I just like found the perfect spot for it 10 years later.
It's like, you know, when some things are meant to be.
Yeah,
Meant to be.
it's good.
Totally.
I mean, the name's great because you're right by the Southside Seaport. I mean, which they've done all the sailing and everything here back in those days.
Yeah, and actually the novel starts in this neighborhood. A lot of people, the bar that it's inspired by is actually in Massachusetts, in New Bedford, Massachusetts, which is like one of the whaling communities. But the first chapter of Moby Dick starts in the South Street Seaport area in New York City. So it also has a lot of connections, and it just like seemed like a perfect fit. Perfect space.
So when you first started doing this bar in your head and stuff like that, did you take visions from any other bar you worked at, or was this pretty much a clean slate? This is what I'm doing it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, so I definitely took inspiration, and like, you know, I've helped to open a lot of bars, you know, in my career, and worked in a lot of bars all throughout New York and Brooklyn, and you know, every little piece of experience influences you, right? For the design of the bar, like, I really just looked to the novel, and I had like everything written out in the novel. It was like basically this like, you know, Herman Melville is a great describer of things, and this description of a whaling tavern with like a mural behind the bar of like a shipwreck, and there's, you know, all these like design cues already written in. So I worked with a good friend of mine named Zikwe Muhammad, who's an artist and painter, and he I basically gave him this passage that describes this mural.
Is that what
And that's what
behind
he
the bar?
created?
So
Okay.
he did.
I mean, that's great though.
Yeah. So he did this custom mural, and he also helped design the rest of the bar in our dining room upstairs. And we both just took cues directly from the novel. But like I'm one of the other bars that inspired me that I worked at was a bar called Monkey Bar, which is a historic bar. It started almost 100 years ago in the 1930s,
Oh, wow.
right after Prohibition. It's in the, I think it's on 53rd Street, if I remember, 53rd or 54th Street in Manhattan, in like the heart of Midtown. I worked there for several years, and they're known for these like monkey murals of like these monkeys doing like funny things that were like, you know, drawn or painted in the 30s as well. So like, I was, you know, that was also an inspiration to me, was to have this like, you know, this bar with murals. They had a lot of TVs here. I don't dislike TVs in bars. I think there's some bars that, you know, sports bars and places that you go specifically to watch games and whatnot, like, that's great. I personally, you know, definitely wanted this to be like an old school bar vibe. So there was like a lot of TV. It was a sports bar before. So I basically replaced all the TVs with this mural.
I like it though.
It's a very like
It's very
homey. You
cozy,
come
yeah.
in, let's talk. Let's get some drinks, get
Yeah,
some food.
it like
and
promotes.
it's
Game days are not our best nights. Yeah, I'll tell you that much. But that's the risk that we took when we decided not to have any TVs here.
And when you first opened this bar, like you said, you want to get rid of the TVs. Like, was there anything like else you wanted people to feel when they walked in here? Was it just about the drinks? Was it about the food? Was it about the atmosphere? And what do you want people to feel when they walk into this bar?
Yeah, I mean, the space itself is, to me, so beautiful and like homey. The building was built in 1888, and it has a lot of history to it. It was at one point a fishmonger. At one point, it was run by the mob. At one point, it was like an Italian restaurant. It's gone through a lot of phases and iterations, but the space itself, it has, you know, these high ceilings and exposed brick walls, and
So the brick walls are like the true.
yeah, this is all original.
That's beautiful though. I love that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to sort of, you know, use the elements, and you know, we have these like really amazing arched doorways.
The doors.
Which I love that.
You open everything up in the summer breeze and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That just makes it-
totally.
It's nice.
So, you know, I really wanted to like highlight those elements and not cover anything up, and it fits so nicely with my theme, you know, with the Whaling Tavern theme. But you know, my background is cocktails. Like that was my specialty. Previously, is creating cocktail menus for other restaurants and bars. So, you know, I have a lot of experience developing cocktails and making drinks, developing recipes. So, you know, I also wanted a place to showcase my skills in cocktail making. So I knew I wanted to be a cocktail-focused bar. The food is what we describe as New England style tapas. So like, you know, like a New England clam house meets like a Spanish tapas.
I believe. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah, I
like-
heard of it. Which I've tried the New England clam chowder you guys serve.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we have a great New England
That
clam
I'm gonna try.
chowder.
So.
Yeah, we have a great burger. Yeah, it's a nice tight little bar menu.
Now, I mean, you made these amazing drinks for us. You're a cosmetologist, or what is that called? No, not cosmetologist, mixologist, sorry. You're a mixologist, I say cosmetologist. That's always good. Like,
Cosmopolitan.
yeah.
That's a good one. That's good. We're gonna work with that. We're gonna work
Well,
with
this is Cosmos, all right? So you mixologist and stuff like that. Like,
Well, actually, it's funny that you said that because the first bar I worked at as a bartender was owned by the guy who basically invented the Cosmo.
really?
Yeah, his name's Toby Cicchini, and
Wow.
the bar was called Passerby. Now he has another bar called the Long Island Bar in Brooklyn.
Okay.
It's a great bar and one of the best bars in New York. But anyway, he gave me basically my first bartending gig at his bar, like back in 2000. I think it was 2007 when I started bartending for him. And he basically trained me, like showed me the ropes, and he's famous for like creating the Cosmo recipe. But anyway, Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, cosmetology. That's a new one.
Yeah.
It's going in the dictionary soon. So being like behind the bar and stuff like that, do you learn your most outside the bar or inside the bar? Behind the bar or more being as a manager and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's a good question. Like, there's so many elements of bars and bartending, you know. Here one of the focus is cocktails, but, you know, for me, like, the most important part of a bar is the people and like the conversations that are had over the bar. So, you know, I think the drinks should be almost like an afterthought. Like you go to a bar, yes, because you like the drinks, or you like they have they have your beer on draft, or they make your favorite cocktail a certain way, and like yes, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people go to bars, but that's not why people come back. It's the relationships
That's true.
that are built,
Very true.
So to me, like, I wanted to build a bar where like we have great cocktails, but like they're easy for the bartenders to make, so that they can focus on, interacting with guests and having conversations with people. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the bars are like about the show of making the drinks and like, all the ingredients that go into the cocktails, and like that's part of the show. For me, I sort of like downplay that here, and like, yes, the cocktails, and all of our cocktails, by the way, are like reference to the novel. Like all the names of the drinks are pulled from Moby Dick, or quotes from Moby Dick. So like the cocktails help tell the story of this nautical themed bar. But I think like having, and like the bartenders, like I work behind the bar a couple nights a week as a bartender, and like all of my bartenders, like I want them to focus on developing relationships. And to me, like, that's stuff that you learn outside of the bar, right? Like the experiences that you have, and like, your life story, and like listening to other people's life stories, like that is stuff that you don't learn, or that's stuff that you bring from your experience outside of the bar. So I think that, like, it's a combination.
It's true.
Question.
Everyone has their story and stuff like that, and sometimes it's just like you can't get that with someone serving you food because there's not much time. But with a bartender, they're always
Like,
there.
you guys
They're always
have
someone to
close?
talk to. Yeah.
And this bar is very small. Like everybody, like we have a dining room and a private event space upstairs that we do. We do events and we do performances, and we do like a lot of different things upstairs. So that's like sort of a separate room. But down here, it's a small bar, and you really get that like FaceTime. We really get that FaceTime with every guest.
Which is a good thing though, because everyone has a hard day someday, and it's just like you just want some connection. type of thing.
Totally.
So, being a bartender and owning, what's the hardest part you have to deal with?
Bartending is the easiest part. For me at least. Like, I love bartending. Like the nights that I get behind the bar are my favorite time that I work here. You know, the stuff that is the most difficult is like all the operational stuff. You know, insurance. You know, payroll. You know, dealing with orders and inventory and all the minutia that is really, it's not necessarily difficult. Nothing on its own is difficult, but like as a whole, it adds up. And it's a small bar. You know, I don't have like. I don't have like assistants. Like we don't have a general manager. I'm basically like doing
everything.
So you're doing you're wearing a lot of hats, yeah.
Yeah, wearing a lot of hats. So like, yeah, to me it's like everything but the bartending is the hardest part.
So you feel like bartending is more of a release from being an owner and a partner and this and that than it is being the full everything. Like that's like the way for you, just like. I'm here for what I love. Like I'm here to...
And I built this place, and like, it's an amazing feeling to build a place and then people come to it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like, even if we have a night where like, you know, only like 5 or 2 or whatever, like, God forbid, only 2 people come here on the night, but like, even on a slow night, like, just the fact that somebody walks into your door is like an amazing feeling. Like, you know, and it's great when it's like. Slammed and you know we're rocking and rolling on a Saturday night and you know it's 3 deep at the bar and we're having 2 birthday parties and whatever, like those nights are great too, but like even just like a slow night, like you know, just the fact that anybody comes here is like it's very cool. Like it's a feeling that I didn't know existed until I opened my own spot. You know?
Yeah, because it's your own. So it's like you put all your, you know, hard work in this, and it's like it's mine. So even if one person walks in, that's still like a yes.
Exactly. It's like somebody's here, and I'm gonna show them a good time. You know.
That's a good thing of being an owner, and you love
what
you're doing, and that's something that's worth it.
Because like you appreciate the person that walks in. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you learn to appreciate, you know, every person, especially you know, we're in like a kind of a hidden low corner down here in the South Street Seaport, and we get a lot of foot traffic and activity down here in the summer, but it's been a really hard winter, particularly with all the snow and
well, this winter is a rough one for everybody.
Yeah, it's hard for everybody, and like we especially felt it down here, where like you know, people aren't walking about down here. You know, like we're a few blocks away from like the financial district and from the piers, the Seaport Museum, and you know. But, you know, our particular corner, just, we don't get a lot of traffic. So, you know, you really have to kind of like seek this place out.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily just stumble on our bar, like walking down the street, like there's no subway nearby, you know, and that's great because you know, the customers that we have come here intentionally for the most part. They don't just, you know, randomly find us. So.
You guys have the drinks, that's definitely true, and food will run out soon.
Yeah. So is Quick Eternity for like everybody, or is it like more like people that love books or people that appreciate, you know, like more intimate atmosphere, or just like the small things?
Yeah, I mean it's a great question. We definitely have like an eclectic mix of people that come here. We have a lot of dates. We have a lot of first dates here. It's a great date night spot, especially upstairs. We have our dining room is a great for kind of intimate dining room for dates. We do a lot of book related events here. We run a Moby Dick book club. Actually, my wife does. So once they're reading the novel over the course of a year, and they meet once a month to talk about like
Every chapter.
She broke the novel up into like 12 sections basically. And so we have like 40 members of this.
Oh, that's
book
actually
club.
fantastic.
Yeah. So we have, that's a cool thing. And we do a lot of like other book clubs that meet here, and we've done some book launch events, and so there's definitely like a literary focus, but you know, we get a mix of different people. We get people who are here for the cocktails, we get people that are here from the financial districts, like for after work drinks. The Seaport community is a very strong local community, and we have a lot of locals that come and support us and have their, you know, we have people here that come almost every night, you know, for their for a drink after work or on their way home.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've never read Moby Dick, but I've wanted to. But now I definitely want to. I'm like, now it just sounds more fantastic because I know about the whale and, you know, just Moby Dick, right? The whale.
It's a challenging novel. I made all my staff read the first 3 chapters before they.
Is that the requirement?
That was
okay.
the requirement. We actually had like during training we had like a mini book club where I spent an hour like talking about the first 3 chapters because the first chapter, basically most of the inspiration for the bar takes place in the first 3 chapters. So because it's the first chapter he's in New York and in the South Street Seaport area, and then chapter 3 is the chapter that describes the bar, the tavern. So I would, if you're interested, I would at least start with the first 3 because you'll pick up on a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, now I figure that's what I'm like, well, because now I really want to, because I'm like, now I see all the the little things of it. I've heard about it and like people have spoken about it, but it's just like I never read it. But now I'm kind of piecing together things that you hear from everybody else, and I'm just like, oh, okay, it's starting to make sense.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm about to read this. So basically, if anybody wants to work here or interview, read the first 3 chapters.
Yeah. Know about Moby Dick.
Requirement.
That's a requirement. Was there a moment like when you first opened and you was like, we've made it? Because I'm like, anyone that opens a bar, it's always you never know.
Talk to me in 2 months when after I make it to my first year.
Yeah, the first year is the hardest, I heard.
Yeah, I will not lie, you know, the wind, once I make it through the winter, then I'll feel like I made it, you know. And, you know, we still got a lot of work to do, you know, to develop this place, and people are still discovering us every day, you know. But yeah, I'll feel like I made it once I get through the first year.
No, that's true, because I'm like, I heard like for any business in general, not just bars, just all businesses in general, the first year is the hardest.
Yeah,
like you make it through the first year and you're still here.
You're figuring out everything. You're figuring out after the first year, then you have. Especially with bars and restaurants, it's very seasonal business, you know. So staffing, like once I get through a first year, I can say, oh, like I can look back a year previously and be like, oh, like we were this weekend, you know, do we have a busy 4th of July weekend? Like, oh, okay, now I know I have to staff an extra 2 people, or no, like this was a very slow week, so like we probably don't need as much, or what, you know, little you have the history to look back on.